Good morning, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we're at property address 18808 Northeast Hassello Street here in Portland. I describe everything as if you're in the street facing the front of the house. We are just inside, there's the back door of the garage, we're just inside the front right corner of it. Got a 4-inch ABS cleanout as our point of access. We're going to insert the camera and check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Water's currently running. We're going to zero out here at the base of the cleanout. At the end, we'll run backwards once the line's fully drained as well. Off we go here. Forgot to mention it a second ago, we swapped over to 4-inch cast iron pipe. Alright, transitioning here. Why they did this way, I'm not entirely sure, but you've got this random little section of 6-inch concrete and then right into 30-34. I'm not sure why that was left in the ground there. It's kind of a shame. Not that it's problematic at this point in time, but that concrete pipe there, of all your pipe materials, generally speaking anyway, will wear out long before the rest of the line will. And when you're already down there in the ground like that, it's just kind of unfortunate that got left in there. As it sits right now, it's not doing anything, but it's something that will probably have to be dealt with at some point in time, like anything. Alright, we hit the main here at about 47 feet. We're going to go locate that really quick here while the line drains out. Then we'll pull back and take another look at everything once the line's drained out. Alright, located the camera head successfully. Line terminates out on Northeast Hassello. You've got some good little landmarks to go off of here that show you where the line's at. It pops out of the front right corner of the garage, then veers into the front yard, and then where the secondary cleanout is, it's a big steel plate in the sidewalk. That cleanout sits directly over the top of the sewer line. So the line just does a big zig and a zag and shoots off into the road. That last little bit there is also concrete. Again, why the city left that in there, this is city responsibility, at least. That's not the homeowner's problem there. But that too, it's just kind of an unfortunate circumstance to leave any of that in the ground because it's already on the very old end to begin with. Alright, so I just went and located, just so you are aware of where this is located at, this piece of concrete pipe here. If you look and see where the secondary cleanout is at, I parked my camera right in the middle of that section there. I'm picking that up right at the very edge of the front yard. It's about the last foot or so of the front yard is where that resides under. And it's where the line was, the yard was dug up even. So that's, anyway, not sure why that was done that way. It's possible the line was sleeved or something like that and someone just didn't see it. But anyway, as it sits right now, the concrete pipe's intact. It's not affecting functionality or anything. But it is, you know, it's already old concrete pipe, and it has a, you know, fairly finite existence at this point, or lifespan. So I would recommend rescoping periodically. It's that piece of concrete pipe is right between two trees, one of which was just recently planted. That's the main concern there. Is anytime you have transition joints, whether it's cast iron to concrete or concrete to PVC, those are by far the weakest pipe joints in your sewer line to root intrusions. You can have pipe joints in and around that transition that are wide open to the ground, letting dirt through, and the roots will still pick the transition joint almost every time. It's because of the way they don't seal up quite as nicely, because you have different materials and different pipe wall thicknesses, and you often have a diameter change like what you have right here. This is necking down to 3-inch pipe right here, which provides a lip for those roots to anchor onto. It gives it just a leverage point. Anyway, because you've got 4-inch pipe here, 4-inch cleanout access, and a cleanout in the sidewalk, you have good makings for an epoxy liner if you choose to do it that way. You could also dig it up too, but that's something that you can deal with trenchlessly if you want to go that route. And I would look into that because it's fairly deep there. You got a little bit of grease buildup in the line here. Like what I'm going to do here, because my camera's chewing all this stuff up, I'm going to run some water to help bust it loose. I'm just going to leave that water running. I was able to camera this without water running. It's graded very nicely. Nice looking piece of pipe. It just had some grease buildup in it. Yeah, when my camera's in there, it somewhat impedes the flow of the line, so I'm going to leave that water running up until we pull the camera out. But all the pipe going through here looks great. I'm going to do a little back and forth here for a second just to break up some of this junk. And grease buildup is something I'm a big stickler on. After 13 years of scoping sewer lines, grease buildup in a lot of cases is more concerning to me than structural issues. It's often stuff like grease buildup, and not at this level. This is relatively minor. But grease creates for very sticky conditions. It slows stuff down as it moves through the line, and it causes things to get hung up in the line that wouldn't otherwise get hung up. And it often will exacerbate minor, even relatively significant sewer or structural issues into a real problem. What I have found is that the amount of lines out there that exist with issues are very prevalent, and pretty much all of them take a very certain storm of events to get them to act up. Grease buildup will often get you there, especially if it's thick. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and reel the camera out of the line. We have good flow all the way out to the main lateral connection. All the pipe we've scoped here today, the ABS, cast iron, and PVC are all in good condition or in good condition for their age. The concrete pipe is in fair condition. It's out there, and it's intact. It's still doing its job. But that is something I would recommend rescoping, especially if you want to take advantage of an epoxy liner. If you plan on just digging the thing up because you've got a buddy with an excavator, I wouldn't necessarily go way out of my way to scope every now and then. Otherwise, I would rescope about every 2 years. Biggest concern there is roots getting in at the transition joints, where the cast iron hooks to the concrete, where the concrete connects to the PVC. That's probably the most likely issue to happen in the short term. Otherwise, you're just waiting for the concrete to wear out. So it's a good idea just to keep an eye on it. Sewer line is functioning properly at this time.